What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode number 16. Now, I want to say this before I get into my interview. The interview on Big Ben was absolutely incredible. So much support. The Mauer Militia is one of the greatest people. Big Ben, one of the genuinely nicest guys you'll ever meet. Shout out to Big Ben. Big Ben, you're awesome. And anyone who's checked out this podcast, you're awesome. Thank you so much. We are on the grind. And I can't thank you guys enough. Follow me on Twitter, like the page, subscribe to the YouTube, and much more. Coming up next, you'll hear the interview with Justin Coop de Loop Cooper. Welcome back to episode 16 of Blindside Sports. I'm Emmett Douglas, and joining me today is a guy who argues with Ben Mauer all the time. He's a former child actor. Now he's the executive producer of the Ben Mauer Show. It's the Coop de Loop at a Bronco fan on Twitter, Justin Cooper. Justin, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Now, I want to ask you some questions about Ben, and you've been at Fox your whole sports radio career, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So your story's pretty simple. So we're just gonna kind of move on to Big Ben. Now, what was it like working with Big Ben for the first time?
For the first time, man, it was so long ago. It was cool. I mean, I was always I always had the late shift when I was an editor there, and so I always got to hear Ben, and that's what made me want to be on his show.
Yeah, Ben's really cool, and I want to ask you. I said child actor, and I've been curious myself, and I'm sure other people are. I don't know if you want to share this, but how'd you get into child acting? Like, you're like the only like child actor that like I like talk to or personally know. So like, how'd that work? Like, how'd that happen for you?
My mom just thought like I had a good personality for it, and so she sent out, got headshots taken and sent those out to agents and whatnot, and that's how it started.
Wow, that's pretty cool, man. And so another question about Ben and the militia, the crew. So you screen the calls, and out of all the callers, what is the caller you have the biggest and best relationship with?
I mean, I'd have to say that's probably Tammy in Montana. And then her and Justin in Cincinnati are the ones I probably talk to the most.
Justin, Cincinnati. That Justin, he's such a troll, but he's such a funny guy. Like, some of the stuff that Justin says, you're like, is this guy trolling? Like, following him on Twitter, it's pretty interesting. And now you and Ben and Roberto, you're the tech producer of Ben's show. Obviously, Ben's a Clipper fan. I touched on that in my episode with Ben, and Ben's takes on the Clippers aren't, let's just say, they're kind of delusional. Mm-hmm. Out of all of his takes, what was the one that you were the most like, you're like, come on, Ben, you had to really drop this? And I want to say too, is one of my favorite Ben Mauer Clipper things was, this one wasn't necessarily like a delusional thing. It was when they got eliminated in 2020 in the COVID year, and Ben goes on and cusses on the air. And I actually got a clip of that. It's on my Twitter. I retweeted it like 2 weeks ago. I'll retweet it again. It is hilarious. And he was so triggered. It was so good. But anyway, Koopa, go on with your thing.
I'd have to say it's probably his whole Final Four thing. That's probably the worst one.
I think the worst one, like the most like hypocritical one for me, was when this was like probably a couple months ago, and you remember I got involved in some of these. These were the ones where he was like, oh, the Lakers championship isn't real, but the Dodgers is. And personally, man, if you're asking me, I don't know if you agree with me on this. You agree with me that the Lakers 2020 championship was real, but I feel like it would be harder to be trapped in a bubble for 2 months, like limited family. You're trapped like in that like area. I feel like it would be harder and a lot like harder on your mental health. It's like, honestly, I'm like quite impressed with the Lakers that they're able to pull it off.
I think they're both legitimate championships. So
agree. there's just so much like setbacks in that COVID year, that like there still are setbacks. Like we're seeing them today with like, how many does the Browns have? Like how many COVID cases is like 20 now or something?
Yeah,
Like what I saw last time.
it's something crazy.
Yeah. So I want to ask you this. What has been the craziest thing that's happened on the live radio? I think one that I saw on Twitter a while back and I went back and looked at it was when you ate that Vaseline on the radio. Like what's the craziest thing that you've done or you've seen on the Ben Maller show?
I think that'd probably have to be it.
How sick were you after that, man? Like there's no way like that was
I wasn't actually
healthy.
sick. I just
Was it like a
I
part of the skit?
well, no, I had already had that next day like planned to be off, and so I just decided to say that I was sick from the Vaseline.
Yeah, I'm sure that didn't taste very good, man. Sure it wasn't. Yeah, no.
Not at all.
So, have you had any Roberto's cooking? And if so, what is your favorite Roberto Flores dish?
I have. He used to bring in whatever he talked about on Cooking with Roberto the next day, and so I've tried a bunch of stuff. Trying to think as far as like my favorite dish of his. Yeah, I'm not sure. For some reason, like the tamales are sticking out in my mind, but I'm pretty sure
That's what
his
Ben said
mom.
too.
What's that?
That's what Ben said also, the tamales. He
See, yeah,
really
but
liked.
I think his mom made those. I don't know that he even made those. So
Hey, yeah, a lot of those recipes are from what I've noticed on Twitter is, no offense, Roberto, I love you, but you're like some of his recipes are like the his wife or his mother-in-law or his mother. So like they're not they're like family recipes, so they're good, but like some of the stuff he makes, like there's this one pasta dish, like I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like some crazy like pasta dish he made a while ago that sounded good, and some of his desserts, you know, sound pretty good to me. So
yeah.
those are my picks. Now you have had a lot of crazy like color, like kind of wild colors, like Blind Scott. What's the most like insane, mad caller you guys have had on the air that like created good radio?
Angry callers.
Yeah, or so, like a Blind Scott type. And I tweeted out yesterday before you get into this about blinds, like about questions for you. And I get a DM at like 4 a.m. from Blind Scott, and it's so many questions that I don't think it was like 5 or 6. I'll ask a couple of them, but I don't think I'm gonna get to all of them.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's nobody really like Blind Scott. He's an original.
It's yeah, he is insane. Like there'll be times where he'll call and be like, Eddie, he's been on Eddie Garcia, he's been on him, and
Yeah.
that's his target. And then he'll call and the next day and he'll be like, I love you, Eddie. Like that was like a couple months ago. I'm like, all right, Scott. So now you worked with Brian No before working with the big Ben Maller. And what was Brian like? Like what was working on his show? What were the weekend overnights for you like back in the day?
I actually worked with Ben before Brian. Ben was the first show that I worked on when he was on weekends. And then they moved Ben to weekdays, and I didn't get to go with him. And I stayed on the weekends, and then that's when they hired Brian No. So I started Brian's show, and I mean Brian's awesome. He's way
Oh,
cool.
Brian.
Hmm?
But this is a guy who does like I was telling you on Twitter that Velveeta cheese on tacos, man.
Oh yeah,
Come on. As
yeah.
Rob
No,
Parker would say, stop it.
he has terrible taste buds, and sometimes his judgment on music is also terrible. But no, we get along really well.
Yeah, Brian's a good guy. I'm hyped to have him, in for Big Ben for the next couple of weeks. And speaking
Oh,
of music,
it's just tonight. It's just tonight.
oh, is Ben back on Monday or do we
Yep.
get? Oh wow. So I do okay. So speaking of music, this is one of the questions Blind Scott asked me to ask you. What was the worst concert you went to, and what was the best concert you went to, and why?
Ooh, that's a good one. Um, The worst concert that I've been to. Damn, I mean, that's tough because most of the concerts that I've been to, I already knew that I liked the band.
Yeah, I would not waste money on a concert I didn't like. That
Right.
it's yeah.
It's
So
hard for me to think of a concert I didn't like. I mean, I remember, there was a concert that I went to that I don't remember at all. So,
okay, just
um, but the best concert that I've been to has got to be Tool.
oh yeah, that sounds like a good time. Now, funny story about me and concerts is I'm a music guy and I went to a I don't know, I don't remember how I got the tickets, but back when I was like 6 or 7, my parents got tickets for a Katy Perry concert and I went there and it was at a Key Arena in Seattle. And let's just say I fell asleep I heard the first half and like like the intros to like I forgot the name, like the exact name of them, but the people who like go before Katy Perry goes,
Oh
or
yeah,
like
like
the
the
main,
opening act.
yeah, some of those people suck so bad that I fell asleep, woke up at the end of the concert, and I'm like, how do I sleep when in a loud like Katy Perry concert in a like arena? It's packed in there. But yeah, I was like, come on, I gotta go to another concert. Not Katy Perry though. I'm not going to that one.
For sure.
So out of the Maller Militia, they've been getting creative as of late with for the past year now, maybe longer, with their songs, and they keep getting better. Out of all the songs, what one is your favorite? Like I like the first one that J Scoop and Just Josh created. That was pretty solid for me. That's the one that comes to my mind. So what about you?
Um, I don't know if I can pick a favorite. The one that's been stuck in my head the most is it's actually one of the shortest ones. It's like the uh Maller the Rain. It's like the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer parody by Mr. PC, and it's only like a couple of lines, and then it goes into an instrumental. But I don't know. That one's been stuck in my head.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good. And you know, Raz quit the band. He's also made some good work, and most of the music and the like that the Maller Militia members have made have all been pretty solid, and there's like no complaints for it. So, like I feel like they're all doing a good job. And speaking of a good job, you've been doing the Ben Maller talent show for a while now. What is your favorite like act that people have done on the talent show? Your favorite talent?
Hmm. I'd have to say probably the Aussie guy. I like kind of impersonations a lot, so I feel like
Same.
that's probably my favorite.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. And this is a Ben question. Does Ben, we all know the answer to this, but I have to bring it up. Does Ben pay forward his bets?
Oh no, but I haven't made a bet with him in years now because of that. So
I
I don't
think
know. Maybe he changed.
the last one you made was that one with back when Danny was on the show, and when the Lakers won, it got dug up, and I don't think he paid up for that one. And
No, yeah,
the,
that was the last one.
yeah, that's led to some pretty crazy show arguments. And yeah, it's kind of funny. Now let's dive into the Denver Broncos. And now I've seen you say fire Vic Fangio on Twitter, and maybe it was you, maybe someone else. But what are some moves that you think the Broncos need to make in the offseason? Because that division's so stacked, and the Broncos aren't even like that bad this year. Like if you're like, they're actually playing pretty solid for that division.
Yeah, I mean, um, I think they have a Super Bowl ready team except for the quarterback position. So that's what they need to focus on. Maybe shore up the offensive line a little bit, but the offensive line is not that bad. I mean, they could be better in protection, but they're pretty good in run blocking. And we've been working with a patchwork offensive line most of the season. We've had so many injuries, uh, but I feel like that's pretty much it as far as what they need.
Yeah, I feel like definitely Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock aren't the answers at quarterback. I feel like if you can bring a bigger name out to Denver, I feel like that would be the move. And maybe, like a Aaron Rodgers or a Russell Wilson. And, I really don't think Deshaun Watson is, I don't, it's such a tricky situation that I don't know if like it's just so hard to predict what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson that I'm just like, okay, who knows, right?
Right.
Um, let's see, where do we want to go? I'm gonna ask it anyway. Blind Scott, want to know, did you ever go to parties in college?
Um, I didn't really like
You don't seem
go
like a
away.
party type of guy.
I'm not really. I didn't really go away for college. I commuted to college, and so I mean, I might have gone to parties, but they weren't like college
Crazy.
parties.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't seem like you're kind of like Ben Maller, like more of a introvert than, going out to like parties. I'm sure, our guy Roberto did back in his day. He seems like he gets into it, but
Yeah.
now Ben Maller has a bunch of games and a bunch of segments, a bunch of bits on the radio, and most of them are entertaining. I feel like. What is your favorite? I love Maller's Mountain of Money, and because obviously Ben, and sometimes he'll try and cheat, and sometimes you guys will try and cheat. One that sticks out to me is when I called in and I completely picked like the worst possible category, and you and Berto came on the phone. You're like, okay, you need to look this up, and my Wi-Fi was being super slow that night, so I couldn't pull it off. And then Roberto just said bye bye and dumped me. Like that was funny. I love Mountain of Money.
Um, Not sure what you're talking about as far as us telling you to look something up. Um, but uh,
Dump that.
uh, Malice Mountain of Money is definitely my favorite to play. Um, but it's one of the hardest ones for me to write.
Oh, it seems like so much work, and like you could kind of tell like you have to like dig like into the crates to find those different questions. And how do you find those? I've kind of wondered that.
Um, I just I just kind of research. I have to come up with it on my own. I mean, I look up, I figure out who I'm gonna do the board based on, like some
The
celebrity
birthday.
birthday or something like that. Um, and then I look up their filmography or their discography or whatever, and then try to look for movies or song titles that I can apply to sports, and then I gotta research those lists and figure out who fits and where, how much they should be worth, all that.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of work, and that you do a good job with that. And
Thanks.
also, yeah, it's you all do a good job on the show. And Ben Maller, how much, like, I know Rob Guerra says he prepares like 6 hours a day. How much like time does Ben spend preparing? And is he like Arnie where he texts like the group chat all the time about the show? Or like, because Ben
Um,
is super prepared, you can tell, like it's pretty
yeah,
obvious.
he does a lot of prep work, a lot of prep work. Um, a lot of prep work. But I'm not sure how much, but he's it's not like he's not like texting us a bunch throughout the day. Like, we'll text about certain topics. Um, a lot of times, about Lakers or Clippers or something like that. But
Of course.
yeah, I'm not sure exactly how much time he spends.
Yeah, it's probably, I mean, he has a 4 hour show. It's like that's a lot of prep right there. And Rob Guerra thinks he does like bub or double of it. So like it's probably, maybe 6 hours, 8 hours. I find that hard to believe, but I mean, who knows when Ben sleeps, because he seems like he's always posting stuff. But uh I want to ask, I was trying to think of the question. I just like had it in my mind and just like kind of boom, it's gone.
No worries.
Ben Maller, like he does like all these, monologues. What is that one you and Ben like argument or debate where you just felt like, man, I got this. You are totally wrong. Because the thing is, when you get mad at Ben, you're saying your takes and you're like giving these sets, and Ben's like, no, you're wrong. No, that's a lie. So what was the one that you were like, I got this, Ben, and you felt most confident about?
Uh, all of them.
Yeah, but
um,
it's so easy to tell when Ben, you know, he thinks he's wrong, or because he kind of starts to fluster and stutter and keep saying, no, that's a lie. No, that's a lie. No, that's a lie over and over. It's
uh,
kind of,
the one of the ones that stands out to me was the Aaron Rodgers charity one. I don't know if you remember.
oh,
That.
yeah. Yeah, that one was pretty, it was pretty intense. And also when like the callers, like Chris in Houston about the cheating Astros, when all of you guys get involved and Roberto gets involved, and that one's funny. Now, a couple months ago, back in the summertime, you guys had a bat in the studio.
Yeah.
What was your reaction? Like, it's such a funny story. I got to hear the play by play of the bat.
um, I don't know. We had heard about a bat in the studio like a couple weeks before that, but we never saw. I never saw it. So I was kind of questioning whether or not that was legit. Um, and then I was working with Chris.
Oh yeah, Chris
And
Perfett. I had him on here a couple
yes.
weeks ago.
And I don't know. Kind of like saw something like go by my head, and Chris saw it, and he's like, "Whoa, it's a bat!" And so, and then I turned around, and I saw it in the hallway, and then then everything kind of played out over the air after that.
Yeah, and then Chris like delayed the button, and then he, knowing Ben wouldn't have believed him if he were to say it. So he's like, "Yeah, Coop, tell him." And then Ricky, the guy who thinks the Cowboys are gonna beat the Lions on Thanksgiving, when you were away, he said that. He was the guy who saved the bat. I'm pretty sure got the thing out of there and saved you guys. So
Yeah.
overall, good job by Ricky. Now, obviously, Ben is cheating at games. What's the most like obvious one that you've caught him? Like I think it was Eddie or maybe it was Big Brother Jake on Fenley's podcast said it, but have you blatantly caught him, cheating like the Marcel, besides the Marcel one? That's a easy answer. Like they literally ask, Marcel, what'd you have for dinner? I had oodles and noodles. And then you're the only guy who picks like your dinners. And man, I was telling Ben this during my episode is some of the stuff that you eat deserves like a cooking with Coop segment. Also, some of the stuff you eat's wild.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I order. I have these like meal delivery kits, and they're pretty great. But as far as cheating, it's hard to catch him anymore because he used to be in the studio, so we could see what he was doing. But obviously now he does the show from home. So, but the way that he cheats the most, which is kind of like sneaky because you don't realize that he's cheating, and he's got like, you know, plausible deniability, I guess, is the way that he works the clock sometimes. So if
Oh yeah.
he's in the lead, not giving the other person enough time to finish the game. So
Yeah, he does that all the time, and then when like, or he'll tell you guys to hurry up, or like when he's if he needs to win, or he'll just stall, like he'll completely just start stalling, and it's hilarious. Coop, I really appreciate you coming on this podcast. I think we have it all covered. It was a fun conversation. Good, talking to you, man. Get Justin on Twitter at Bronco fan. And are you on anything else that like is public to us?
No, I don't think so. I mean, unless you're talking about like my PlayStation Network.
Well, I do have you on that because I have Roberto, but I don't think you want like 100 Mauer militia members adding you, so I'm not gonna say that one. And check him out with Ben Mauer, 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. He'll take your phone call if you want to call in and argue with Ben. Justin, it was a fun time, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, man. Anytime.
Yeah, have a good night, man.
You too.
Let's move on to week 15. It was a pretty good conversation with Justin Cooper. Can't thank him enough for jumping on here. Now, let's go. We already talked about Chiefs Chargers last night. Why don't we dive into this Colts Patriots game on Saturday? Definitely has potential to be one of the good games this week, as the Colts are a pretty solid team. The Patriots are on a hot streak. I could see the Colts upsetting them, but I could see like the Patriots losing any day this at any time. This is on Saturday, and I will take. I'm gonna take the Colts to beat the Patriots. Patriots winning streak is gonna end right there. We also have Browns Raiders on Saturday, and if the Raiders lose this game somehow with all the Browns COVID situation, then that sucks. Give me the Raiders 28, the Browns like 14. Like the Browns, like they don't even have like that good of like a team right now. Like they're not playing that well. Like they're kind of injury riddled and they need a lot of work. Broncos Bengals on Sundays. It's gonna be a good game too. You got their defenses going hand in hand, or get the defense, good defense of the Broncos, good offense of the Bengals. I'm gonna take the Bengals. This is gonna be a close game, 28-25. Did I pick the Colts score? I don't know. It's fine. Vikings Bears on Monday Night Football. That's also a very intriguing game. I will take the Vikings over the Bears 31-27. This is gonna be a good game because every Vikings game is it's just like super like close for no reason, no matter who the team is. So I'm gonna roll with the Vikings to barely pull this off over the Bears. The experience of Kirk Cousins might benefit them. We also got Chargers Chiefs. That's gonna be able to talk games for this week. I feel like Seahawks Rams. Russell Wilson. It looks like he remembered to play football. Again, I don't have the Seahawks winning this one because that offense of Matthew Stafford's way better, and obviously that defense of the Seahawks is way better. So give me Rams 37, Seahawks 27. The pressure is there's gonna be some pressure on Russ Wilson, and that's like inevitable. Even though I think the Rams are having pretty bad COVID situations themselves, but expect the Rams to win kind of big over the Seahawks. To be like a 2-possession game. Dallas Cowboys game. Cowboys Giants. We got Dak Prescott up against maybe Daniel Jones. Pretty easy, pretty simple for the Cowboys. 28-10. Not gonna be that good of a game. Philadelphia Eagles game. Eagles Washington. Jalen Hurts should be back from his sprained ankle, I believe. I'm really high on Jalen Hurts. I'm gonna take them 21-17. Texans against the Jags. Honestly, man, with Urban Meyer being fired, this is such a bold prediction. I think Trevor Lawrence is gonna have one of the best games of his career, probably if not the best. I'm gonna ride with the Jaguars in this one, 24-14. Dolphins Jets. Dolphins have been on a hot streak. Tua seems like he's found himself. The Jets are like a weird franchise though. Like it's so weird. Give me the Dolphins 30, the Jets 16. Falcons Niners. Give me Niners to win big. Not much exclamation. 38-10. Buccaneers Saints. Another one. There's not much exclamation. Give me the Buccaneers to win big. 35-13. Lack of Saints offense. Is gonna hurt them. And I believe it's Lions Cardinals. Detroit Lions game. Lions Cardinals, another one. 38-20. I'm going to take, obviously, the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray's got a pretty good game, eating up this Lions defense. And also, I feel like the Lions are going to try and tank for that first pick at this point. But it'd be funny if they pulled like some New York Jets crap last year. They're like, losing record, and then they won like 2 in a row. They're not going 2 in a row, but like, wait a minute. Oh, no, they lost last week. Never mind. 2 more games throughout the season. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, knowing the Jets. Buffalo Bills game. Bills Panthers, another kind of crappy game, but I'm gonna take the Bills in this one, 37-16. This is a pretty easy game for Josh Allen to dominate. Panthers aren't a good football team, don't have a good quarterback, so pretty simple game here. That's gonna conclude it for this episode. I believe we are done. Or I can pick a couple more games. That would be cool. We picked all the prime time. Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers Titans. Give me the Titans to win 24-17. I feel like it's not like this is like a weird game where who knows what's gonna happen. I believe the Titans will have Julio Jones back. And like pretty simple. We got the Packers Ravens. I believe. Give me the Packers in this one by a lot. The Ravens haven't looked that good over the past couple weeks anyway. Who knows what Lamar, like I said, I'm a little worried about that. So give me the Packers to win in this one by kind of a good amount, 34-17, 17-point game there. I believe we have picked a lot of those games. What else do we got? We picked Cardinals, picked Bucks. I feel like I'm missing one, man. Picked Chiefs, Chargers, picked all of that. So that's gonna wrap it up for this podcast. Double episode week. This should be out Friday because I just dropped one Thursday. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, download the podcast, follow me on Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Blase. EmmettNosi04 on Twitter. EmmettNosi on the gram. BlindsidePod11 is the show's Twitter. I'm more active on my personal one, so go hit those up. I'll have the ads in the description. If you guys enjoy this podcast, share it with your friends because word of mouth advertising is the best way of advertising. Peace.